Good evening. Welcome back to Iconoclast Games. Or if you're new, welcome. We're doing another quote unquote unboxing. This is Daggerheart. It's been out forever. But this is the Kickstarter box that I got, the collector's set. I just kind of wanted to show that off. I also have the core set, which is out there now. And we'll talk about a little bit of the news that I heard that's going on. So here we go. First off, we've got a pad of character sheets, which is always good, and it's got the maps and using your rests, how to go through action rolls. Um, There's some equipment pages, and then it's got an example of leveling up, and it's for each of the character classes. So you got a ranger, seraph, and the character sheet's just the same. Warrior. This is your generic sheet. Then you got a druid with their domains, sage and arcana. Domains are your areas that give you power, abilities, strengths, that sort of thing. So out of the different classes, there's different domains, and you get to choose from two for each class. So that was cool. And the core rule book with the fancy cover. This is that's the standard cover that you'll get when you buy the set. Otherwise, this isn't any different than what's in the book. Lots of color, lots of pictures. Um, this is really cool. I haven't gotten to the GM side of it. I have been fortunate enough to play. I'm playing on a start playing campaign, and it's been fun. And in this book, you got monsters, you got stuff to run the adventures, the frame. Let's see. So they have in Daggerheart, they have campaign frames, which basically give you an idea of what the world is. So like there's the Umbra, which is a very dark. The gods have left. You're stuck with no help. Very evil. We've got Wither Wild. Let's see, do they list them all? No, there's not. Just a quick list. Figures. Um, it comes with, I think, gives you 5 ideas, but you can customize your own frames too. It's just basically the genre that you're in. Why am I focusing on the frames? The Witherwild, Five Banners Burning, Beast Feast, Age of Umbra, Motherboard, and Colossus of the Dry Land. So one, two, three, so 6 frames within already included. We've got the appendix, introduction, characters. Here's your classes. One, two, three, four, 9. Okay. 9 classes, ancestries, race, community. Gives you a little extra benefit if you're from the forest or from the city, or if you know the underworld really well. All of your stuff to play the game, how to run an adventure. Some great art in here. I love the artists that are involved. That's the core book. In that also comes with your screen. If you just saw my last one talking about the turtles, I like it because it's got a adaptable screen. You can do a customizable screen. It's got all your normal information in here. That's it for this. So down here is this nifty little drawer. Put this stuff back. So this is all part of the collector's set. If you got it on the Kickstarter. And this also a magnetic lock. This is where it has all the cards. Now, I wanted to stay away from these cards because you see that gold? They have that gold foil, gold edge for collector cards. I think you saw some of that in some of the Magic the Gathering cards. So I shouldn't have opened the packs, but I didn't think about the gold foil part. But this has like your community on here, so Orderborn, and then there's Ridgeborn, Seaborn, and they all give you various benefits like an Orderborn dedicated. Record 3 sayings or values your upbringing instilled in you once per rest. When you describe how you're embodying one of these principles through your current action, you can roll a d20 as your hope die. So that's a bonus. Your hope die is normally a d12, so it can go even higher. It's also spells. So like this is for wizards, a book of exotic exoda. Got split up. They also included a set of dice, big fancy, dice. And I'm not using them. I got a million dice. I'm just gonna keep it in the set because I'm a collector that way. And they also included tokens, little crystals in this bag. So you can use this for a lot of different things. You can use it to mark your hope. You can use it to mark fear. You can, some spells, you can put tokens on there, and that's how many times you can use it. So I've got Unleash Chaos as a sorcerer, and with my sorcery casting trait at a +3, I can fill it up with 3 tokens and use it once for 1d10, or I can use it for all 3 in a one shot and get 3d10 damage, plus other modifiers. So this all came with the starter set, which is cool. I mean, I bought this. It wasn't technically a Kickstarter. I just pre-ordered the set through Darrington Press online. And it's all. I mean, this is just really cool. We got the secret drawer, but it can also sit on your books, with the Daggerheart name, like a book. So that's super cool, and I will never use anything else. This is what you get with the core set, which right now is just the Daggerheart book. It's everything that's in the other book. I don't think there's anything different. Basically, your basic info here's in the front, as always, how to play a game. Here's what the basic classes are. Here, Bard, Druid, Guardian, Ranger, Rogue, Seraph, Sorcerer, Warrior, Wizard. Let's see, what is so Seraph is like your Cleric. Guardian's your Paladin. Warrior's your Fighter ish type stuff. And then they got an in-depth 2 pages for each. There's some extra, like with the Druid, you get the beast form. But basically, it's 6 to 2-page format for your classes. Then your ancestry is basically what race you are. Dracona, it's a dragon, dwarf, elf, fairy, fawn, firbolg, which is they're related to cows, bovines, fungal, mushrooms, galapa, turtles. We got giants, goblins, halflings, human, Infernus, Katari, cats, orcs, rivets. You can play frog, cool, and simia, apes or lemurs, any however you want to look. You can kind of mix them. It's kind of weird. These communities: highborn, lowerborn, orderborn, seaborn, slyborn. So slyborn, you have the advantage on rolls to negotiate with criminals, detect lies, and find a safe place to hide. Underborn is basically living in underground community. and that this could be any race. You don't have to say it's the dark elves or things that live underground have to be underborn. It's just an opportunity. Wanderborn, Wildborn, so all of them have different feature that can help you out in the game. We got core mechanics. Talks about the domains. Let's see if there's domain page. Okay, so here are all the domains. There's Arcana, Blade, Bone, Codex, Grace, Midnight, Sage, Splendor, and Valor. And then on here you can see where they overlap. So the Rogue has Grace overlapping with the Bard. They also have Midnight that overlaps with the Sorcerer. So everybody's kind of has this sort of connection, a relation, which makes sense. A Druid and a Ranger should probably share some stuff. A Ranger and a Warrior should share. You got the Warrior in between, or Guardian, the Paladin, between a Warrior and the Cleric, which that noble fighter would fall between them. It's good stuff. Wizards and Bards. The core rolls, core mechanics. You're rolling 2 dice, 2d12. The duality dice. You pick one for hope, one for fear, and if you say this is my hope die and this is my fear die, that would be 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a 12 with hope. If it was reversed, that would be a 12 with fear. If you get doubles, that's critical. Any set of doubles you can get double ones. Generally, a one's not good. That is a critical success. Now you can get say the total you have to beat is a 15, and you roll 6 and a 9. So we can go. Oops, let's do one more. So it's a 14. So you didn't match the numbers. So you failed with fear, or you can go. Where is that 5? Just anything lower than there we go. Or you fail with hope, and then you can have a success with hope, or a success with fear if you had to beat a 15. So the total, and then you can add in any other modifiers that are on there on the roll. Advantage is done with a d6. So that would be a whopping 8, 12 with fear. With advantage. Same thing with disadvantage. So that's a 16 with 12 with fear. Plus your modifiers for your stats. And then let's see what's this next section. So this is about all your weapons, equipment. Here is the GM section. Running an adventure. It's the purple. We've got adversaries. So you got your bestiary. Here with things. And then this is the framework here at the end. So it gives you the rundown. Like I'm playing in the Age of Umbra. In a dying world immersed in a relentless shadow and nightmarish monsters, small communities hold fast to the light, hoping those who endure can find a way to save this broken realm before all is lost to darkness. It's dark, it's gritty. Everybody likes using the term grim dark for stuff like that. I like it. I like the era. I like the age. I'm not a fan of Beast Feast. That's basically where you go hunt down monsters and then you eat them. I don't know. Some people are very excited about it, so I'm not going to take anything away from anybody who wants to do it. Motherboard's interesting because it's kind of like high tech, but like post-apocalyptic tech, which would work really well with the Gorilla of Destiny and his books on using circuitry and magic. I've been getting into his books. It's amazing the amount of work this gentleman does. Gorilla of Destiny, and he's got there's a method to these symbols for these spells, and it's absolutely amazing. Check him out. He's got some good stuff. His maps are just to die for. But I digress. In the back, in the appendix, is good because you can get a rundown of all the different spells or abilities that are included in the domains. So like most of these are spell related: arcane, um, bone, um, blade, and maybe not bone. It's more about your fighting ability, like having special abilities as a fighter. Codex domain is a wizard, so basically it's books because wizards tend to read their spells. Sorcerers, it's a power through them. Warlocks, it's making a pact. You know, you got somebody else feeding you energy. Midnight domain, a lot of good stuff if you want to be a rogue or an assassin. You got some like this chokehold. You can come up behind somebody quietly and yeah, do your thing. Adds to the backstab. Splendor, that's your um, clerics. And all those pages that was in the notepad are here in the back also. So the damage roll, how an action roll works. How an action roll works. Damage rolls using armor. What you can choose for short rest or long rest. With the different tiers, because you get, depending on your rolls, you can add your tier. Equipment, how basically turn runs, how movement goes. Basically, you exchange spotlights, and your most kind and wonderful GM can take the spotlight back by using fear. Well, if you roll with fear, that gives him points. If you roll with hope, it gives you points. I just like that. There's no set order. Like you don't go around the table clock. You know, who wants to go. You're driving a story, and either it's very narrative, and they like using it's a narrative telling, or it's just go with the feeling. The spells are um, specific, but yet there's enough in there that you can kind of play with how you cast the spell. I mean, the thing I like about it is you can describe it better. You can ask for a little bit more leeway. Like, is it okay if I use this spell to do X? And yeah, yeah, that would really make a good part of the story. So these are the same cards, but without the gold. And um, I'm getting another thing about getting. I photocopied one of mine because if I made another character, you only have one of each of the spell type cards in here. So if you're running more than one character and you like to keep the cards, I find these are great memory devices for at least for me being older. I can look at these cards real quickly. I don't have to flip back and forth between a book that's got everything I need to know on here and like Unleash Chaos. That's what I was saying. I get to put place a number of tokens equal to your spellcast rate on this card, which is instinct. And my instinct's +3, so I get 3 tokens at the beginning of every session. Even if I don't have them, you know, if I still have 3 on it, you know, it goes away. But if I'm completely out, the next session I get 3 again. So it's nice. Or I can spend a stress and add 3 if I'm in the middle of combat and I really need it. I can spend a stress if I have it to put more tokens on it. But there's all 10 levels of a spell, you know, the abilities, and you get these cards. I like the fact that you know if I'm going to be playing sorcerers all the time, I can buy that deck and just use that deck, and I can keep this alone. But this all came together as a set, and I am playing a sorcerer, and that's I kind of left her from my D&D game, and I adapted her to Daggerheart because I really enjoyed playing the class because of the sorcerer points, and I just like being able to have that freedom to kind of do things, you know, to drive a story. Um, so it's a really, and there's a lot of things coming down the line. The Hope and Fear is the first official announcement of a new book. They've got the folio if you're into buying um, just folders with sheet protectors and card slots. I'm thinking about getting one, but I'm pretty good on my own. I have my own notebooks and systems. Um, a lot of adventures are coming. More source books, more worlds. Dragons of Dungeons of Draken Hold is in Kickstarter mode. Dragonheim, Dungeons of Drakenheim. There we go. From the Dungeon Dudes, I believe. Check them out. It's highly regarded. I never played it for 5e, but that's coming. That's in Kickstarter phase. The individual class packs that you can buy is in Kickstarter phase. I think that one's done. Just waiting on getting the product. The folios out buyable, and there's a lot of YouTube channels, gamers that are moving towards um, live play that you can watch. There was an announcement about one of the groups doing a 35 episode campaign, and then Critical Role had a short adventure, and I know they're talking about it. But I'm just excited where this is going. I think it's a great system. Of course, in anything, there's bugs. I've been dying to find a magic system that really feels magical to me, and it's not just a list of skills. Fireball isn't just fireball anymore. This is the closest I've gotten so far. There's so many other systems out there that I've gotten that I haven't had to really chance to sit down and look at, like Dolmenwood and Dragonbane. What else? I mean, and then you get into things like the cipher system, use of magic. I came up with a system a long time ago that I think I really want to try and publish. I just sometimes you just feel like you can't just cast anything that you want, and that seems ridiculous. But I know at first level you shouldn't be able to cast wish, but you would think you can cast a light. You can do you covered some of that in cantrips, but even if you didn't have the cantrip, you're screwed. Um, if limited shield that gets bigger and bigger the more powerful you grow. So like you should have maybe all of the spells, but you get it at a reduced level. So they only do 1d4 damage. And then you get to level 10, then by level 10 you're doing 10d10 damage every time. However it should scale. That should be able to come up with a force field that protects me from an arrow that does, if it doesn't do more than 10 points. If it does more than 10 points, it takes off the 10 and then the rest of it rolls into me. But I can create a force field. I can pick up small objects like a bag of dice, or at level 10 I should be able to use telekinesis or some sort of move to move carts and move mountains or move a dragon. By level 10 it should be 10 times everything. Your fireball at first is lighten your finger, and then by level 10 you're putting out a meteorite sized fireball. I can should be able to figure out a way to summon a little bit of water, at least manipulate the water, splash a little bit, and then at the end you're making tidal waves. I think I would like to see a system like that more. But right now, I like where Daggerheart is and enjoy playing the game. I want to play the other fantasy systems, but let me know what you guys think. I just know I need something new. Thanks. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Please comment what you think of Daggerheart. What do you think of fantasy games in general? What do you think about the oldest RPG out there that hasn't changed? I should probably just do a video on that. Thanks, and we'll see you in a week.